Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, I Heart Aries. My name is Chelsea, and this is a channel where we do all Aries readings. And I wanted to do a little brief recap. I pulled some cards. This is for me, so I'm not going to do a reading for the collective right now. Once I finish this video, I'll sage and I'm going to come back. But last night, if you guys didn't catch it, if you saw it, I don't know, so a lot of you did, during the all signs, during Scorpio, and I think it is like a minute because I've watched it back like so many times now. It's like a minute. I mean, it was like at an hour and 4 minutes. Excuse me. There was an orb, and I just want to tell you what I saw. Okay, I wish I could go live. I'm literally in the process right now of switching my internet to Cox. But there will be more lives once I get this internet situation fixed. But so this is what I saw. From my perspective, when I was doing the video, I saw something like, no, I didn't see it out here. I didn't see it here. I felt a whoosh, but I saw on the screen, it was like something flew into the screen. And it looked like it flew into the screen because it's like soon as it appeared, I could see it get bigger, like it magnified in the screen. When I watched it back and I watched the video, like you guys watched the video, it looks like something went and like that. I could see it go literally past me. But when I saw it from my visual, it was just something that was like got bigger on the screen. It looked like, from my perspective, it looked like a strobe light. That's why I knew it was an orb, because it was so bright. On my computer, it doesn't appear as bright as I saw it, but it was very bright. I pulled cards on it. Now, y'all, this is freaky, so stay with me. I pulled cards on it. The very first card I got was the Empress. I used my Rider-Waite deck. The very first card I got was the Empress. I got the Page of Cups. I got the Queen of Cups. I got the Eight of Wands. So immediately I knew it was a good, and I didn't feel afraid. I just knew something was getting my attention. I immediately knew it was like a love message. It was someone telling me, it was definitely a loved one, because of all of those cards are representing love and communication. And, like I love you. And it was a message. Every time I shuffled again, I kept getting the Eight of Wands, the Empress, and the Page of Cups. So that's definitely communication, a message, a positive message, somebody telling me that they love me. And so I gathered that it was my grandmother. Couldn't tell if it was my grandmother, my great-grandmother, or my grandmother, but I speak to my grandmother all the time, and I tell you guys this all the time. You know, if you've been following me, it was one of the harder deaths that I had to experience. I got therapy right after my grandmother passed, because it was around the time where I was going through so much with domestic violence, a whole bunch of stuff after becoming a new mom. So it was just like that when she passed, it was the tip of the iceberg. And I think it was the point of like that truly started my spiritual journey. And it was so interesting, because when I couldn't shake it last night. I was like, that was communication. Somebody was communicating with me. So I went to bed. It was on my mind, and I was asking who it was. Well, I got up this morning, and soon as I slept upstairs this morning, so I'm getting my room together. I have guests, I have family. So this is another significant thing. I have family coming into town Friday. All my family, like, coming into town. So I slept upstairs, and soon as I walked out of the guest room, I saw my cards were on the ground. 4 cards were on the ground. It was the High Priestess, it was the Five of Wands, the Seven of Wands, and I think the Page of Cups. And so immediately, like, I flipped them over and I started reading them, and I was like, this is someone in the spirit telling me that they're protecting me. And to me, when I see the Seven of Wands, it's an active protection. I mean, obviously, if we have our protectors, they're always protecting us. So I didn't know if that was specific of like somebody was like actually doing something. I don't know. I don't feel that in any way, but it was more communication. I got home today from the gym, still in my mind. I started pulling the High Priestess. Every time I pulled, the High Priestess came out. So finally I said, let me sit down again and look into it again. And as I was sitting in meditation, I heard, get your ancestor deck, get the deck that you use to communicate with your ancestors. I don't ever use this deck for the collective readings. I think I've used it once or twice, like a year or two ago. And I think it maybe need to pull out, because after I pulled the messages for myself, I'm like, you know what? Somebody else may need a message, an ancestor message. But I wanted to show you guys what I pulled because it made me so emotional. And maybe it may be confirmation for someone else. So this is the deck that I use when I communicate with my passed on loved ones. It's the messages of close, most messages of closure. Y'all wait till you see this. So the first card that I got was, I see things differently now. I see things differently now. The next card I got was, I love you. The next card that I got was, I'm with you all the time. And the next card I got was, please take care of yourself. And I pulled on this one here, and I got the Nine of Pentacles here and the Moon in reverse. So I definitely felt like this was like, her telling me to take care of my health, and that makes sense because she passed away. A lot of people in my family pass away from heart problems, heart issues, high cholesterol, things like that are in our community, our Black community. So, and she's saying, take care of yourself. And then I asked again, and I pulled today, and I kept getting this Judgment. And guess what else I got that kept clarifying? The Empress. The Empress. The Judgment can be like self-evaluation, it could be at a crossroads. But in this particular deck, me getting the Judgment, I literally was hearing an extension of myself. And if you can see here how this girl is releasing, it's a beautiful card, releasing the spirit here, and the spirit is free. And so, I'm not surprised because I actually was kind of like asking for communication probably about a week ago. I was asking for communication from my ancestors, from my grandmother specifically. So, and this is just like confirmation when you ask. You know what I'm saying? You may not get it immediately, but it will come. Another thing is, when I was pulling from the messages of closure deck, I heard, I pulled one card and they said you only need 3 more cards to get the message. So I had 4 total. When I pulled the 4th card, I looked at the deck and it was like this. So it literally closed the book. Like, that was confirmation. That's the end of the message. And the card, let me see if it's here. It was here that flipped it over and it said, yes, I heard you. That is crazy. It said, yes, I heard you. I pulled from my ancestor deck and I got this card as well. Protection Guardian, drop your shields. So it's letting me know that there is some sort of form of protection going on around me right now. Maybe it's like more heightened, but it's also, I feel like my grandmother's telling me that she's here with me. I think, I believe also with this, and I've gotten this message here from her before with I see things differently now. When I clarified, I see things differently now, I got the High Priestess again. I come from a very religious background, Catholic. My grandmother was a devout Catholic. I'm saying that table that I used to do my readings at, that was her table. A lot of you know that. In my whole house, it's downstairs in my kitchen now. I keep that table. That was what I got when she passed on, was her kitchen table, which she's had over 50 years. She, every morning at the crack of dawn before the sun would rise, she would be at that table reading her Bible. Every night she would be at the table reading her Bible. When I tell you, she never missed a day. She never missed a day. And I always knew that, I always felt in my heart that for her, even though she was a devout Catholic, it was deeper than religion. And she knew that she just had to be committed. She had to be faithful. She just needed to seek God. She needed to hear from God. And I always use that even in my own faith, my own spirituality, is that no matter what, I'm kind of like a chameleon when it comes to spirituality. I believe in all faiths, but I believe in the higher power. I believe in God. I believe in the Creator. Everything else, yes, if it resonates with me, yes, but I believe in God. And so that is like my focus. That is who I connect with, along with my ancestors who are clearly here. You know what I'm saying? My ancestors who are clearly a tool that we should all be using, that we should all be honoring, that we should all be speaking to every day. I feel like when you speak to them every day, you literally strengthen the lines of communication. And that was such a beautiful confirmation for me. The and I think they come when you really need it the most, when you're ready, or because I can tell you, I had one time right after my grandmother passed when I felt her. It could have been like it could have been like I didn't see her, but I felt her. It was a situation. I'm gonna have to go into that deeper, but it was a situation where I felt her, and that was a point in my life where that I was in a lot, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was in a lot of bad energy, a lot of bad things. I was going through the domestic violence, so I was abusing everything that I could to get out of that energy. And I remember feeling her telling me, you're better than this. Get out of this. Get away from this. And that was it. 8 years later was the next time that I saw her. And that was in a dream. And I remember reading this book, and it said that that it's your ancestors or your passed on loved ones visiting you. It's actually them when they don't speak in your dreams. If they speak, it's more of a kind of like a how do you say it? If they speak in your dream, or if there's a plot or anything, it's more of like a message. But if they're in your dream and they do not speak, they do not open their mouths, you see them, that is actually them visiting you. And I remember this happened last year, I want to say maybe months. It hasn't even been a year yet, where my grandmother and her mother, my great grandmother, were sitting at the kitchen table that I do my readings at. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and they were just sitting there smiling. And I think they had coffee. That's our thing. I drink coffee all the time. I think they had coffee, but they were just sitting there smiling. I remember waking up that morning and my face was wet. So I must have been crying in my sleep because it's just so happy. And I woke up crying again. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. There was something else I wanted to tell you too. But I just thought that was so amazing because I know a lot of you always say you see orbs, you hear things, you hear voices, but when I channel, I don't really I don't see anything. So for that to go through the computer like it did, I knew that was something that needed my attention more than it needed your attention. But yeah, I think I'm going to do an ancestor message here later on today once I get these other readings, these personal readings done. And I can't remember what I want to tell you guys. There's something else I wanted to tell you. Oh, that's where I was going with the religion thing. So when I was saying that, this card right here, I see things differently now. I've always wondered about that. We always wonder about heaven. We always wonder about who's doing what right. The one thing that has always turned me off, and I'm just going to speak freely, of religion is that, it's never really, it just seems like today's age that religion is more about you should be doing this way, and and that's the right way, and that's that. Where I feel that, as long as you connect to spirit and your spirit and God, that you will know what's the right way to do. And for me, it's treating people right. For me, it's, acting with love, and compassion, and just like literally the golden rule. If nothing else fails, like fucking be a kind human being. Like that's what I believe in, because you have people who are so devout or devote to a religion, and they treat people poorly. You know what I'm saying? They treat people poorly. They judge people. They condemn people. And I'm like, that can't be godly. It just doesn't speak to my soul. And so when I see this card that had came out here, and I've clarified it to ask her what this meant, and the high priestess came, I do believe that she was confirming about the spirituality and the faith. Not saying that her religion is wrong when she practiced Catholicism and everything else, and anybody else's. I just do believe that that's what she was trying to communicate, is that she sees things differently now. So I don't know what that means because I'm not where she's at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not where she's at, but I do believe, it's we're all going to see. We're all going to see. And at the end of the day, if all else fails, be a good human being, you be a kind person. You can't go wrong with that. Whatever you believe in, whatever you're practicing, whatever faith you're doing, let that be what you lie on at the end of the day. It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful how we're all connected. And it just really reminds you that, no one really truly leaves us. So that's what I have for you guys. I'm going to talk to you later. Bye.